Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce Admin Series. Today's topic is Flow Builder. So let's see what we are going to cover in this video today. So first we will see what is a flow. Then we will see different types of flows. What are different components of a flow. How you can launch a flow. After that, after the launching of a flow, how you can test or debug a flow. Then we will see some of the considerations. And at last we will see the comparison between different process automation tools like workflow, approval process, process builder, and flow. So let's start. What is a flow? So that is the official terminology related to flow. So whenever you work on a flow builder or whenever you work with the flows, there are three main terms which are related to flows. So first we will clear it, like what are those terms. So the first one you will hear about is the lightning flow. So lightning flow is the product that encompasses building, managing and running flows and processes. So like in the earlier video we have seen about process builder, and in this video we will learn about flow builder. So those processes and flows, whenever you create any processes or any flows, so the product which encompasses both of these automation tools, flows and processes, that comes under lightning flow. Then what is a flow builder? So flow builder is a point and click tool for building flows. Similarly, we have process builder. So the process builder is a point and click tool for building processes. So similarly, flow builder is a point and click tool for building flows. Now, what is a flow? So flow is an application that automates business processes by collecting data and doing something in Salesforce or an external system. So in this automation tool, it will collect different types of data that can be entered by user, or that can be coming from any external system, or maybe inside from Salesforce, and then it will do some of the actions. That actions can be performed within Salesforce, or it can be performed in an external system. So that is the flow. So these are the main terminology related to flow. So whenever you hear, be clear what the other person is talking about, whether it is a lightning flow. So the lightning flow is a product. Flow builder is a tool where you build a flow. And what is a flow? Flow is basically an application which helps you automate the business processes. So let's see what are the different types of flows. So there are many types of flows, but then you can say that these are the mainly two major types of flows, and other flows can be categorized under these two flows. So the first one is the screen flow. So screen flow requires user interaction. It doesn't have pause element. It can be launched via custom buttons, links, lightning pages, web tabs, visual force pages, or direct URLs, and many more ways are there to launch a screen flow. So basically in the screen flow, you will build a screen where user will enter the data, and in that particular flow, you don't have any pause element, like it can pause for some time. That particular flow can pause for some time, and then it can be started again. So that pause element is not there in the screen flow. You can launch screen flow via different means. Maybe you can create a custom button or a link, and then you can tag your flow with that button or link. So whenever you click on the button, or whenever you click on that link or any particular visual force page or web tabs, then only your screen flow will be launched. So that is your screen flow. The another one is the auto launched flow. So auto launched flow doesn't require user interaction. No screen elements allowed. So as the name suggests, it is a auto launch flow. So it doesn't require any human interaction, or user cannot enter any inputs from his side. This is something that can be launched via process builder, Apex, or REST APIs, or via other means. So these are something which gets launched on some of the I would say it's more like a trigger that it happens, something happens in these ways, maybe using a process or through an Apex code or from some external system through REST API, some data is coming or some record is getting updated or created. So based on that, these auto launch flow gets launched. So a trigger can be specified that will launch this type of flow. So what type of thing that will launch this auto launch flow will be a trigger, and it can be a schedule trigger or a record trigger. So whenever a record is created or updated, or whenever you want to schedule it at a particular interval of time or at a particular day or a month, so that can be scheduled. So this trigger will launch the flow on a schedule basis, or maybe whenever a record is getting created or updated. So it depends like what is the use case. So based on that, you have to choose between the two of these flows. And there are some other types of flows. I will show you when we will go ahead and create a flow in the Salesforce. I will show you there are few other types of flows as well, but it is more of a requirement specific. If that particular requirement is there, then you can use those flows. But mainly the major two types of flows are screen flow and the auto launched flow. Then we have different components of a flow. Like we have in all our automation tools, we have seen different components. So similarly here also, there are three main building blocks of a flow. So the first one is the element. So element represents an action that the flow can execute. So that element is basically your action. Okay, whenever this flow will be launched, what actions will be taken or what actions will be executed, that will be represented by an element. Then you have something called connector. So connector basically defines an available path that the flow can take at a runtime. So basically connectors is you can say it's a guided path. Okay, so if this happens, after that this event will happen, after that this will happen. So that roadmap for the flow to follow whenever it will be run, so that is defined by the connector. Then at last you have resource. So resource is what? It represents a value that you can reference throughout the flow. So whenever you are launching a flow, it happens that you reference different values in that flow. So those values are your resources. So basically you look for those values, or you use those values, or maybe you update those values. So those are the different values which you are referencing in your flow, that will represented by resource. So these are the main three components of flow. So all this I will show you in the flow builder once we will start building the flow. Then how will you launch a flow? So there are few steps when you're launching a flow. There are few steps, or there are few things which you have to define while you're launching a flow. So the first one is define conditions. Obviously where you will define like when this flow will be launched, based on what criteria or based on whatever things this flow should be starts executing. So that is your defining conditions. Then how this flow will be routed, how the flow will travel all along during this particular flow process, how the things will how the actions will be performed. So that is the routing of flow. Then you have to take care of handling errors as well, because sometimes it happens like a middle step of the flow gets failed. So what should happen if something happens with that particular steps getting failed, how it should handle that particular error. So that is also an important part when you are launching a flow. Then working with data, obviously you will reference different kind of records, different kind of data while working with a flow. So whenever you are executing a flow, you have maybe you are using some of the reference fields, or maybe you are setting some of the constants. So you are continuously working with the data. So that is also an important part while you are launching a flow. Then sending emails. So you can send a lot of different types of animals to different types of emails to different type of recipients. So those are also part of flow launching, where you can send different types of emails. But then it is an optional thing. If the use case demands any kind of sending email, then only you will use send emails. Then show progress through stages. So this is also an option for you when you are suppose you have a very lengthy flow where you want to show the progress through different stages, how the flow is. I would say a guided path kind of thing, where you can show the progress through different stages. Okay, so currently it is on the submitted stage. Now the stage is like it is performing some action. Then the next stage is sending emails. Then the next stage is sending notifications. So those are the different stages you can define while you are progressing through the flow, so that user will know, okay, currently I am on this particular stage. Okay, this many stages are left. So that's what. Or maybe you have seen, like suppose we are filling any survey or any kind of feedback form. So there you must have seen, like or sometimes when you are filling up for a position, for an open position. So the first one is the address information, then your education information, then your work experience, then submitting your resume or any other particular document which you want to attach any document. So that guided path basically shows you the progresses through different stages, how the flow is going on. Then extend flows by calling Apex classes or adding Lightning components. So this is something you can do. There are a lot of functionalities in a flow. You can do a lot of things with the flow. But even if you have any such complex use case which you think that it cannot be sufficed by flows, so then what you can do, you can do a part of the process with the use of flow, and then you can extend those flows by calling Apex classes, or you can add different Lightning components to your flow, and then you can complete your use case. But mostly your use case will be sufficed by flows because it provides a lot of various functionalities. But in any case, if it is more complex use case or more complex requirements, so they give you ability to call Apex classes or add different Lightning components. So let's see how. So now you have created a flow. You have seen the different steps that can be used while launching a flow. Then once it is launched, once it is ready, before giving it to users or before putting it in your system, final system, first you should test or debug a flow. So before activating a flow, test it thoroughly to make sure that it works as expected. So you have this option to test this particular flow, because so before you activate the flow, before you start using it in the system, make sure that you test it very thoroughly. Debug option in Flow Builder can be used to test a flow and see what it does in real time by setting input variables. So you have an option, like you can give sample input variables. You can set it over there. You can just click on debug and you can see, okay, how the test, how this particular flow is getting executed. So you can basically test it. And a flow interview is running instance of a flow. So once you activate it and starts running, then the instance, like, okay, this is a flow, and it suppose first time it is getting executed. So that that is your flow interview. Basically, it is a running instance. So currently this particular flow is running. So that would be your flow interview. A flow can have multiple versions, but only one will be active at a time. So your flow can, suppose you have a basic flow defined, you can have different versions. Maybe you have changed, like in one of the flow, you have changed something, some values, some field values, and another flow also you can, you have defined something else, some other values. But you can have those different versions, but then only one version of the flow will be activated. So it depends on you. You want to activate the recent version or the previous version. So maybe you are doing some changes while going through the process, so you have created different versions. So it can definitely have different versions, but then the only one version will be active at a time. So then after defining a flow, after testing it, still there are a few considerations which you should take in mind whenever you're creating a flow. So what are those considerations? Build flows in a test environment. Definitely for anything I would suggest build it in sandbox or test environment. Check it thoroughly and then only execute it in the production. Never hard code Salesforce IDs in the flow. So you should never hard code any kind of Salesforce IDs like account IDs or contact IDs or any kind of record IDs in the flow, because then if you hard code it, then the flow will be dependent for that particular record only for which the ID is hard coded. So it's better not to hard code any kind of Salesforce ID, otherwise your flow will going to fail whenever you try it for another records. Then always provide error handling. As I told you that it is very important. If you had a complex process or complex flow and there are many stages and there is possibility that any of the stages might get failed while you're running the flow, so it's better to provide error handling, so that then and that time how that particular error will be taken care. So that will help in error handling. Save early and often if you have like a big flow. So I would suggest you to keep on saving your work early and often, so that it will not, sometimes it happens like because of the connection or because any thing can happen and it gets just shut off. So then your the process, if it is not saved, so whatever have you done till now, it will all go away. So it's better that you keep on saving it in the middle and oftenly you do this. Then test as many permutations and combinations as possible. So definitely they are giving this option of testing a flow or debugging a flow. So use it thoroughly, use as many as permutations and combinations possible, use different scenarios, different criterias with different values, and test it thoroughly. And once you're completely satisfied with your flow execution, then you can go ahead and execute it in the production. So these are the main considerations which you need to take care when you are defining a flow. So now what we have here is a comparison between different automation tools which we have learned so far. So we have process builder, flow builder, workflow, and approvals. So here you can see there are different criteria based on which the comparison can be done. And then you can decide like, okay, what could be the best automation tool for this particular scenario or for this particular use case. So based on that, you can decide which one to choose. So when you see the complexity, so in the process builder, you have an option of multi if and then. You have seen like you can define multiple criteria and attach different action to each criteria. So you have that option of multi if and then. In the flow builder, it's not like if and then, it's like more complex functionalities you can build out there. In workflow and approvals, you have single if and then. Then visual designer, so where you can visually see what your building is in the process builder and the flow builder. Then you have time-based actions, like you can schedule it basically as per the use case. So those are the things available in process builder, flow builder, and workflow. Then the user interaction, where you can do some kind of user interaction, or you can provide a screen where a user can basically input it. That is available in Flow Builder. It gives you a screen element. I will show it to you. Then you have something called create records. So where all you can create different records of an object is in the process builder or the flow builder. In workflows and approvals, you can only create task, not the records of any object. And where you can delete records, you can delete records in a flow builder only. Then if you want to send emails, so you can send it with all the automation tools available. It's just that you have to see the other use case requirements, whether it is getting fully taken care by which of the automation tool, and based on that you can select it. Otherwise, if you just want to send an email, you can select any of these automation tools. Then this outbound messaging, that is only available in the workflows and approval. Process builder and flow builder doesn't support outbound messages. Then update fields, so where all you can update the fields. So in the process builder, you can update for that particular object and the related record. In the flow builder, you can update in for any record, because it is not like you are making a flow just for a particular object. No, it's not like that. In the flow, you can reference different objects and you can update records of different objects. Then you have workflow. So there you can have that particular object or its parent object. And similarly in the approvals also, that particular object's record or its parent objects. So this is the main comparison. There are a few more criteria which you can think of, which you can analyze, and then you can decide which automation tool is best for you for that particular use case. You can use like 2 or 3 out of this for different use cases in your organization. So it all depends what is the best possibility for any use case to be completed. So as and when you use more of these functionalities, you will understand their depth and what could be done with the help of these automation tools, and that will help you to choose which one is best for you for a particular use case. So now what we will do, we will create a flow in the Salesforce org, and I will show you, I have created a sample flow. I will show you how it looks, and then we will create a similar kind of flow in the our org called Totspati. So let's see. So I'll just log in. I'll click on login. So once we log in here, it shows setup. I will just show you what I have done, a small flow that I have created. So I'll click on my app. So it will open our home page, which used to get open. So here you can see what I have done. I have given an option of quick school, like a user can quickly create a school from the home page itself. He or she doesn't need to go on the accounts, then click on new, and then select the record type and all those things, and then create the record. But what can be done here, it's like quickly create a school from here. So suppose I'll give the school name as DSK Middle School, and I'll just click on next. Now if I'll go to the accounts, you can see the account gets created so quickly. So this is something like a quick action. So we have given this small screen to our user where they can just simply give the name of the school, and it will be gets created. And then after that, whenever you think like, okay, now it's the time, you can just click on that particular school. You can click on the details and fill out the other things, whichever you want to add it over here. So those things you can do after creating of an account. So this is something which gets quickly created. So this is done with the help of a flow. So let's see how we can create a flow. So similarly, we will be creating a flow of quick students. So if there's any student comes up, so if we just want to quickly create it, so we'll create it over here. So let's see how we can do that. We'll click on setup. And here we will go ahead and select flow. Click on flows. Here is an option of creating new flow. Here you can see the flow which I have created is the quick school. So that is a screen flow and it is currently active and it is created by me, and the date also here you can see. So similarly, we'll create a new flow here. Here, I was talking about the different kind of flows. So the main flows which we have learned about the screen flows and the auto launch flow. Similarly, you can see here you have scheduled trigger flow that will launch at a specified time and frequency for each record in a batch. This auto launch flow runs in the background. So this is also a kind of auto launch flow, but it will be launched at a specified time, and it will be launched in the background. Then we have read about auto launch flow. Then we have something called record triggered flow. Like we have seen, like we have two types of trigger that can trigger the flow. So that will launches when a record is created or updated. This auto launch flow runs in the background. So this is also a kind of auto launch flow, and it will run in the background. But when it will start running, when you launch, when you have a record gets created or updated. Then you have something called platform event triggered flow. So whenever a platform event message is received, that time this flow will be launched. And this is also an auto launch flow that will run in the background. So these are the different types of auto launch flow only. But then they have specific scenarios. So based on whatever use case you have, based on that, you can choose whatever flow fits your criteria. This is your screen flow, which guides user through a business process that's launched from Lightning pages, communities, quick actions, and more. So we will use this screen flow to create a similar kind of flow, which I have shown you for the quick school. So I will select create here. Here you can see there are elements which we have talked about, like the different actions that would be performed in a flow. You can see here there are these types of elements. So what are those elements? Like screen element, actions, and subflow. So you can have a subflow also inside a flow. You can have different kind of actions. You can simply have a screen. Then you have different kind of logic elements here, like assignment, decision, or loop. And then you have something called data elements, where you can create records, you can update records, get records, and you can delete records. So these are the different elements that are there in the screen flow. So first we will select a screen element over here. So what happens whenever you select any element from here, it will show you different components that you can attach inside a particular component that you can do. So first it's asking about the flow label. So we will give it as a quick student. It will create student record. And here in the control navigate, here you can see show header and show footer. So in the header, your label, whatever label name you have given, will be shown, and in the footer you are seeing the different options of pause, previous, and finish. But we don't want to show all these options. We just wanted to have finish, or in that case next, if you have multiple options. But in our case, it's going to be like a single screen and a single input, so we will just finish it. So you can select it from here, what do you want to show in the header and the footer, and then you can here control the navigation, what buttons you want to show it here. So I'll just click on done. So here your screen elements gets added. Now what we want to do, we want to create a record of the student element. So I'll just simply drag the create record element here. So it's asking me what should be the label. So I'll give create a student. How many records you want to create at a time. So I just want to create a one record. How to set the record fields, use all values from a record or use separate resources and literal values. So I will give you this is basically whatever fields there'll be in the records. Whenever you are creating a record or updating a record, what should be the record fields, how it should be set. So that you can select it here. So in this case, we will select use separate resources and literal values. If you want to for a particular field, if you want to set a particular value, or you want to use a separate resource, like okay, this value should be different from there, or it's just that you want to use all the values from a record. So it depends, like how do you want to set the different record fields. So this is the option where you can choose that. Then for which object we want to create. So student is our for us it is a contact object. I'll select the contact object here. So once you select it, it is asking set field values for the contact. So here it's asking what are the different values which we want to set for this particular contact. So we want to have the contact name. So we want to have the first name. Here we want to enter value or search resources. So here I want to create a new resource. Resource type I want to set as a variable. Here I want to give it as a first name. And I would select the data as text. Default value, it's okay. We will enter availability outside the flow, but we are going to use this only inside the flow, so that is fine. I'll just click on done. So here you can see this first name resource has been created, and it will be set to the field called first name. Then we have last name. Similarly, we select the last name. And here again, we will create a new resource. Resource type, we will select variable. So here you can see you have different types of resources available. Suppose you want to give a choice set or a pick list choice, or different kind of formulas, or any constant you want to set, or you want to set any kind of stage. So all these options are available over here. Based on that, you can select whatever resource type you want to use. So if suppose you have a feedback form or a survey form where you want to give different options of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rating different kind of ratings, so you can select the record choice set. Or if you want to give different options of like good, intermediate or excellent, those kind of choices, so you can select pick list choice set over there. So it depends what is your use case and how do you want to show it on the screen. So based on that, you can select different resource type. API name, I'll give last name. Then data type, again, I'll select text and other things. So I'll just click on the done. So now I have got these two records to be set over here. I'll just click on done. So that would create a record on this particular screen. So I'll just now what we want to do is to create the connectors. So once it start, what should happen? The first should come the screen. So that's how you can connect it basically. So these are your connectors. And then after that screen comes, the record should get created. So from here we will click on here. So here you can see how your screen flow would work, how this particular flow will start, and then it should create a quick student, and then it should create the records. So as I said, you keep on saving your flows. So I'll just save it, and I'll give a flow label as quick student, and the description is create student record. Here you can see there are some advanced features also available. How do you want to run this particular flow? So here you can see there are different options, depends on how the flow is launched. Enforce record level access, access all data. So these are the different security settings which you can set for your flow. Then what type of this flow you are building up. So here we are building screen flow. Then you have a different kind of interview label here. So it's basically it's saying that whenever you quick student is getting created, the current date and time would be coming in that case. So this is interview label, that's we talked about, that whenever you run a flow, that particular running instance is called the flow interview. So that is here we are talking about, that it will take the current date and time because it's happening on the runtime only. So I'll just click on save here. So your flow gets saved. So this is save. I can show you how it looks over here. So suppose you just refresh it. So here it should come now. So here you can see quick student has also come, but we have not yet activated it. So that's why it's not coming as active. I will show you how the quick school also is looking at. I will show you how it is looking. So here you can see it's a similar kind of flow. You have a screen flow start, then you have a screen. So here you can see whatever value we have set, like the quick school and the finish. So that is also coming here. So I'll just click on done. And then here you can see we have a similar kind of element of create record, but here we have selected the object as account object because we want to create a school. And then we have set only the name for the school, but in our contact we have two options of first name and last name. So that's it here. So that is our version 1 which is active for this particular quick school flow. So you can see here version 1. Suppose if we do any changes over here and save it, it will become our version 2. But then it depends on us whichever version we want to set activated. But then at a particular time you can have only one version to be active. So now we will go ahead, and here you can see there's option of coming run, debug, activate, and save as. So here is the option of debug. So I'll just show you how this looks like. Because our flow is very small and very simple, so it doesn't require basically a debug kind of thing. But if you have a lengthy flow, if you have some complex functionalities, so better you debug it, test it thoroughly, give different kind of input variables and see how it is looking. So what it is saying, it will giving you debug option, run the latest version of each flow, call by subflow elements, show details of what's executed, and render flow in Lightning runtime. So it basically giving you options like how do you want to show your details. Do you want to see all different flows actions to be run or executed, and you want to see it in the runtime? Then this flow has no variable that allows input access, or all its input variables are collection variables or apex defined variables which are not supported for input when debugging. So in our case, because it's a simple flow, we have to just give the names. So basically with those names like first name and last name, the contact gets created. But in case you have some flows where you are giving some input variables or setting some input variables basically to start that flow. There you can give the input variables. So if I just click on the run, so here it is showing that how it looks, quick student, next, how the interview started, and I have started the flow interview. The username would come over here and the debug detail is coming. So because our flow doesn't have any such requirements of inputting variable or setting some variables or constants, so it is not showing anything, but that's how you can debug your flow. That's how you can basically test your flow and then see different kind of execution actions in the runtime. And once you are fully satisfied, you can come here again and you can just activate your flow. So now I've activated it, so it becomes active. So now where this screen should come, as you see that for quick school, we have seen that it was coming on the home page. So similarly, I want to show this quick student also on the home page. So for that, what I have done is, I'll just show you here. In the setup, you have to go and click on the Lightning. So here you can see something called Lightning App Builder. So I'll just click on Lightning App Builder. So what I have done here is I have created a My Page. It's a clone of the home page, which was coming earlier, the default home page. So what I have done, I've created a new page over here. So I'll just show you how to create a new page. This is this is something where you can create different types of Lightning pages on by yourself, and you can drag and drop different kind of components on the page, and you can make the page customized based on your user or based on the requirements you have. So for creating any Lightning page, just click on New. So when you click on New, this Lightning App Builder will open up. So first it will ask you what kind of Lightning page you want to create. Do you want to create an app page? So that will show you an app, a custom app page. Do you want to create a home page where you just now we have seen the home page where we have seen the link of Quick School. So I have created that home page. Then you have something called record page where the page will look like any records which are getting created. So whenever you create an object, whenever you build a tab, and whenever you create a record for that object, that record page gets open. That is a default record page which provides by Salesforce, but then you can create your own record page and you can drag and drop different components on that record page which is not there by default. So you can do that. And then you have something called embedded service page. So it's like a totally kind of new service page kind of thing, where when you are suppose in a service industry where you have to do different kind of tasks for the user, you have different kind of appointments with the user for a particular service, or maybe you have some field interactions where you are going on the field and doing some of the things, like suppose you're going to someone's house to fix the Wi-Fi router, or those kind of field interactions. Basically those people who are field technicians. So for that you can build an embedded service page. So in our case, we will just see how we can create a new home page. I'll just click on next. So here you have to give a label. So I'll give my page 2 because I have already created one. So it is just for you to show it here. So here you can see there are different types of templates available for a page to get created. You have header and 3 regions, and then you have a standard home page. So whatever you want to select, whatever look and feel you want, based on that you can do. Then you have something called clone Salesforce default page. So there's an option you can just directly clone whatever is the default page is coming from the Salesforce as a home page. So I'll just select home page default. and I'll click on finish. So here you can see the default home page will start coming. So we have like whenever you open the home page, you can see the quarterly performance. Then here on the side, you have assistant, then today's events, tasks, then recent records and recent opportunities. So this is something which is there by default from the Salesforce. It is coming. You can drag and drop here. Suppose I want to drag this particular flow on our screen over here. So I'll just click here and it will ask me, where did it go? Okay, so here now it started coming, flow component, quick school. So it is showing you the quick school component. So it started coming over here. And then you have an option of quick student as well. So I'll just select quick school, and I will also add another component of flow, and here I will select quick student. Now the both flow components will start coming over here. If you want to edit anything, you can just edit it from here. You can just simply click on here and the flow builder will get open and you can edit your flows. Then here you can see here many more options. You have list views, you have a dashboard. If you are building any reports or dashboards, that also can be you can show it on the home page. Then you have chatter feeds, chatter publisher. So there are so many items available. Standard items are there that are available. You have visual force. Then if you have any lightning components which you have built, customize it, that will be shown under custom. But these are some of them which are there, which are already there, like the report charts, recent records. Here you can see we have recent records, then recent items, or any particular task you want to see, or any particular key deals, like the opportunities. So those all you can just drag and drop it here, create your home page as you want. You can just simply customize it based on your need. So I have just added these two flow components. I'll click on save. Then it will ask you activate this page to make it visible to your users. So once you save it, if you want to use it, so you have to just activate it. I'll click on activate. So now this page gets activated. Now it will ask you whether you want to assign this particular page as a default home page for your organization. So here you can see different options is coming. So it's asking org default. Then it's asking app default. If you want to define this particular page just for your app, so you can define it here. So suppose if we'll click on assign to apps and I'll select my app over here. So whenever we will click on my app, only in that particular app this home page will be visible. So I'll just suppose I'll click on next and I will save it. But if you go ahead and choose any other app, the default page will not be this one. Okay, so I'll just click on save. So now this is set for the my app. I'll just quickly save it once again and I will show you how it will look. So this is our my app. So currently you can see it is only showing quick school because the earlier page which I built, that was the default set here, but now we have set it as my home page too. So it should show us here quick school and quick student both. I'll just refresh it. Let's see if the home page gets done or not. So here you can see quick school and quick student is coming. Okay, the label input field is not coming, so that we have to see what is missing there in the flow. So now you can see here it should show us this kind of input box, but then it is not showing here. So let's see how we can rectify this thing. So that would be an additional learning for you. So let's see, we will go to the flow builder. Okay, so let's see what we have missed here. If any one of you can guess what I have done, I have created the screen element, but then on the screen I have not provided any ways where we can input it. So that's why it was not showing in our debug option as well. So now you can see these are some of the things which can be missed in while we are defining the flow. So let's see how to add those fields. So what we want to add as a text over here. So I'll just drag and drop the text, and what should be the name as first name, and it should enter values or resource. So the resource we have created the first name, so it should come from there. Then you have here different options, whether it is required or not. Then you have set component visibility. When should this component should be visible? It should always be visible, or then there are some conditions you can define. Then you have validate input. If suppose the input is not correct or anything is missing, you want to show any error message, you can define it here. If you want to build a formula based on that, this particular value should come, so you can insert a formula over here. So now we have first name. Similarly, I should have another text as for the last name. So I'll just drag and drop it here, and I'll give it as last name. I'll give the API name over here and select the resources. This is last name. Here it comes the last name. So now I'll click on done. I will just, okay, yeah. So here you can see now I'm not getting save button because it is already activated. So what we have to do first, we have to go to the flow builder where all the flows you can see. So I'll just here. I will select flow builder. Basically, we have to deactivate it first, and then only we can make changes. So let's see, go to the flows. Here you have quick student. I will just click on it. I will edit. Just a second. Yes, here. So here you can see there is one version. Click on edit. That option to deactivate it. So let's see from where we can deactivate it. Details and version. So here you can see this is the version. Back to list. Then we have another option as edit access. So let's see from here if we can. Okay, so this one is where you can define it for different profiles if you want to configure user access to run this flow. So that can be done from here. So let me see from where we can deactivate it basically and create a new version. So you can see here, we are not getting any option of editing it. So we have just created this screen. In the screen component, we have added first name and last name, but we don't have any option of saving it or editing it, like activating, deactivated and activated back. So what we can do here is something called save as. So let's see, we will try the save as. So it is asking us whether you want to save it as a new version of the flow which you have created, or you want to have it as a totally new flow. So we just want to have this a new version. So everything will remain same, but then the version will change. So I'll just click on save. So let's see how it looks. So now it is saying you version 2. So earlier it was coming as version 1. Now it is coming as version 2. Now we have an option like we want to inactivate the version 1 and activate this version 2. So yes, we want to do that. So I'll just click on activate. So as soon as I'll click on this version as activated, another version will get deactivated. So how we can see that? We can see it from here. If you just refresh this page, Let's see the version 1, what is showing it there. So now here you can see quick student. Under that you can see view details and versions. So let's see, here you can see now we have two versions, version 1 and version 2. So version 1 is currently inactive, and the version 2 is the activated version because we have changed our input variables there. So here you can see now how you can create different versions, how you can, because once the version is created, activated, you cannot basically uh, change in that particular version. What you can do, you can create a new version of that and you can activate the latest version, or whichever version you want to activate, you can do that. So that is the another thing which comes up here, so that you got this idea how if something happens, something wrong happens with your flow, how you can create different version. So now I guess it should come. Now if I'll go ahead and click on debug, I guess it should come. It should ask us the last name and the first name. Let's see how it looks if we run this. Let's see. So now it is coming the first name and last name. So basically you can debug it over here. You can just give the first name and last name of a student and click on next and see what happens, how it gets debugged. Or in the app homepage, let's see how it is looking. So I'll just refresh this app homepage because we have already added the flow. So here it started getting reflected. The changes started getting reflected. So I'll just create first name as Ayana Shah and I'll click on next. What it is saying, an unhandled fault has occurred while processing the flow. Please contact your system administrator for more information. So that means there's still something is missing, something is not properly set. So that's how you should debug. So let's see if we could debug this option using our debug thing, and there we can see whether it is properly running or not. So let's debug it. So I'll give first name here as test 1. Let's see what it shows here, what error we will get. The flow interview failed, something went wrong. See the error in the debug details. So what error it is coming. This error occurred when the flow tried to create records. Required fields are missing. You can look up. So now you can see what we have missed it here. Whenever you create a contact, let's see, when you normally create a contact, what happens. So I'll just show you. You go ahead and create a contact, click on new, you select student. So here you can see what is the required field here is the name. So name is your required field, but we have not set it as required in our version. So let's see if by just making it required will solve it our problem or not. So basically it is showing you how you can rectify your errors. So here you can see this debug option is so helpful. It shows you whatever thing is not getting properly entered, or what error you are getting. So let's see, we will make it the last name, make it required, and let's see whether it will again the same thing will happen. We have to create another version. So I'll just see, I'll give it as require, click on done and save it as, so it will be our new version again. I will save it as a new version and activate this version. We will just debug it. I'll close these two windows. Let's see whether it gets run properly or not this time. So now I'll just give test 1 and let's see if the account gets created or not. So it's still saying required fields are missing, last name, and it is asking us to go to the API developer record. So let's see, we have made this field as required, but still it is not coming. So what could be the possible reason? We will find it out. Oh, so let's see what thing which was missed actually for that we were getting that error. So what I have done, when we have drag and drop the first name and last name, we have created these two screen elements. What I have done in the previously, I have entered the default value here from and I have chosen the variable as first name, but what we are doing is we are just I did like this. I have given the default value as first name, but it should not have a default value because it's something which a user should enter. So it should not have this default value. So that is what I have done by mistake. So you need not to set any default value over here because this is something which we are taking from user. So this is something which we are taking this input from the user. And similarly, in the last name also, I have set that default value as the last name, which should not be set because the same reason we are getting this value entered from the user. So it should not set any particular default value. So that's what I have done. I just remove the default value from the last name and the first name, and I'll just click on done over here. And now let's see, we will debug it, what it shows us. We will run it, the debug, and we will give some test one, test 2, and let's see, we will click on next. Okay, now it's saying all done, the flow interview finished. So now we can see here a record is ready to be created when the next screen pause or local action is executed or when the interview finishes. So that means our flow run successfully. Now let's see, first we have to activate it. So let's see, we will activate it. So yes, we cannot activate, we have to save it as a new version. So we'll just save as a new version, click on save. I hope it should run successfully now on the home page. So let's see, we'll go on the home page, just refresh it. I'll click on the home page. So now it is coming, first name and last name. Suppose we give as Tia. And suppose if we miss the last name and we just click on next, so it is giving you this error. Okay, last name is a required field, so you have to just give the required name as the last name is a required, so you have to give some values. I'll click on next. So I hope it should get created. Oh, it's still showing unhandled fault has occurred in this flow, but I guess we have to log in again and try one more time. So I'll just log in here because our debug has run successfully, so it should also run. I'll just check whether it is the latest. Oh, we have not activated it. Oh, that's why. So that's the thing which we missed. So we will activate this version. We have just saved that version as a new version, but we have not activated it. Oh, it's not getting activated. Why? What happened? Okay, now it gets activated. Let's just check, double check. It doesn't have the default value. Okay, it does not. So this is the correct version which we have activated. So I'll just log in again and let's see whether our changes gets reflected or not. So here you can see that creating a flow is quite complex. You have to do various things again and again and try and error. So that's why it is mentioned to always do create this particular flow in your test environment, because you cannot take so much time when you're building in the production environment. So just make sure that it successfully run in your test environment and in your or in your sandbox, and you thoroughly check different permutations and combinations, and once you're satisfied, then only just move it into the production. So hopefully the student should get created now. Let's see under the contacts. Okay, now the Tia but gets created over here. We can go see here, go in the details. So the name is started coming as Tia Bhatt now, and all other details you can fill it over here. So that's how a flow creates a record for a particular object using a screen interaction with the user, where you have put that quick student screen on your home page. You have quick school, similarly you have quick student. Then both of these flows are helping you to create a quick record for account or contact object. Based on that, whatever your use case is, you can build different kind of flows. You can have a screen flow, you can have an auto launch flow. So it all depends what is your user requirement, what is the use case. And make sure that you do all this first in the sandbox, thoroughly debug it. Here you have seen like we faced some errors, so it was a good thing that we faced it here. We learned something more, what could go wrong. So whenever you are asking for an input variable, don't set the values as a default value, which I have done, which I had done. Now we have changed it, so don't set it as a default value. It will give you an error. And also make sure that you have the required field as checked as required, because it is required when you're creating a contact from a Salesforce page. From that particular, whenever you click on new, create a record, and you create from there, so last name is a required field. So based on that, you can add different more fields over here if you want to provide values at the time of creation. Otherwise, you can just quickly give the required fields over here, and after that you can go into the details and you can edit the record and fill those details. So that's how your flow works. I hope you get more learning in this video, because we face those errors. We have seen it together, like how we can resolve those errors. So it definitely help you. But the thing which I want to tell you guys, that please try different types of flows, different types of permutations and combinations that a flow can do, because it's a vast topic to cover. So we cannot cover like all the different components. You can see over here all the different elements over here. We cannot cover it all in one video, but I would definitely suggest you that go ahead and try different scenarios, different real-time scenarios where you can use the flow. And please make sure whenever you are doing it in any organization, make sure you do it in the test or sandbox environment, and then move it into the production. So that's all for this video. We have covered all the 4 automation tools, and which helps in basically automates the different business processes. So that's what is all about the different automation tools provided by Salesforce. So thank you all for joining me in this session. Thank you.